seeing the guys compete and being able to be out there in the spring and Friday night lights in the middle of April is pretty good stuff. A little rainy and cool, but it was worth it. Didn't dampen our spirits, and it's fun to see those guys play competitive football. So had a lot of young guys that have never really been in that situation in Mikey Stadium before, so it was encouraging to see them do that and have that experience. So now on to the summer workouts. There's the spring summer workouts, and get ready for preseason camp. It'll be here before we know it.
Want to start us, Ken? Go ahead.
Sure. Coach, certainly dealing with Washington, Colton played well tonight, and Ethan Washington. You got a number of quarterbacks in the game today. How did you evaluate the quarterback play?
I thought all those guys did some good things. It was fun to see them in there. I thought both Coleman and Washington. I thought Cale Helms made some good plays, and a couple times they're late. He's running for his life, but he made some plays, being elusive and getting away. He made a really nice run to set up the touchdown that the gold team had there toward the end. He just that kid finds a way to make plays in competitive situations. People call that a gamer, and he probably is. He just finds a way to make plays. I thought all those young guys really tried to play hard and ran the ball hard. I felt Luke Knight and Nehemiah Van were the only two guys that weren't in a red jersey, so gave those teams a chance to run the quarterback, and that certainly adds an element for our offense. And Zach Mundell, just great to see him back out there again. You know, he got hurt in this game a year ago and was out all last season, so it's kind of happy to see him get out there and compete and do some good things.
Just on putting your offensive line together, got Henry Appleton, Braden Bartosh at left tackle, and we're watching Will Jeffcoat at left guard, and Lane Parks at right tackle. How do you feel like with Pablo Generali and Brady Small carrying over? How do you feel about that group and as you go come off the game?
I'm really encouraged with that group. Obviously, we lost three good players that were starters off the offensive line and won the Joe Moore Award. And whenever you lose, whenever a team loses a veteran player that's played as much as those guys have and meant so much to the success, you know, it's hard. It's hard to lose guys like that. But I do feel that guys like Appleton and Will Jeffcoat and those guys are veteran players, and they've been around, they've been in the program, and they've been working and preparing, and I think they're going to be a good group. I'm excited about that unit. They're well coached. Coach Beatty and Coach Blackshear doing a really good job with them, and so obviously there's more opportunities to develop and get those guys ready to go, and we'll take full advantage of the practices we've got in preseason camp and leading up to the first game. But I think that's got the potential to be a really good group.
Yes, any thoughts on defense? We talked with Deshauntes Gray, who had a sack tonight. What stood out on defense?
We've got some veteran players, and you know, guys like Casey Larkin and Donovan Platt, Jaden Mays, the two inside linebackers, Fortner and Thomas. And we got a number of guys back, that Medozi and guys like that I'm confident that we can have a good defense and that you know, we can be a good run stopping defense, which is where it needs to start. Guys like Jack Latour and Cody Harris Miller, those are veteran players that have played. With the addition of guys like Jack Bowson, who didn't play a year ago, he's had a good spring. I think there's enough guys we can play good defense. We're going to have to play very fundamentally sound. We're going to have to play really hard because we're not going to be as big as people we play, and collectively probably as athletic as anybody we play. But I think we can still play good defense, and so you know, again, a lot of work to put in, but we'll get some time between now and the first game.
Thanks, Coach.
You have anything, Sal?
Yeah, Coach, you got to see some younger slot backs get a chance to play in this game and probably emerge in the spring. What have you seen at that position? I know Noah's the leader. I know Samari Howard has seen some action too, and Clark too. What have you seen from that group?
Well, both Samari and Clark were out tonight with injuries, but that gave some of those other guys opportunities to get in there. I really like Jaden Walker. He did some good things tonight, carrying the football. Aiden Self, who also didn't play tonight, was injured. I think he's had a good spring. Excited about him. Trey Trumba, I think he has some good days ahead of him as a slot back. It's not a group that's loaded with experience, but I really like the young players that are coming up in that unit. Trey Benson, not lightning fast, but just elusive. A lot of times he'll catch the pitch on the perimeter. He just has a knack for making people miss, and makes our guys miss. Maybe he won't make anybody else miss, but he's been able to do that some, and so I like him as a player, and he's a physical kid. So I think that's a good group of guys, and that'll sort itself out, kind of who's going to be in the travel unit and where we're going to use those guys. Sebastian Shannon is playing as well right now, going into the senior years he has since he's been here. So I think he's going to add some depth for us, and that's good. I'm encouraged by that.
Briggs Bartosh is a little different back for you guys. Can you talk about what made you feel like he would be a good fit there and made the move from slot to fullback?
He's just really explosive. He does have good top end speed, but he's got. I think you probably noticed tonight a little bit when you hand him the ball and he hits a crease. He's got really good explosiveness. He's got good feet. He showed some balance tonight, which was great to see. The first run he had, where he kind of broke some tackles over to the right side and ran through the tackle of a corner, unblocked, and he was kind of stumbled a little bit. He was able to quickly kind of regain his balance. Now that's not something that you can learn and practice. I think it's an ability that probably a guy has or he doesn't have. So he's got good balance, and I'm excited about him. He's just, right now, he's a depth player. I think there's a number of guys at that position, and they're all different, that are going to be able to help us. But he's different. He's a change-up, where you got kind of the more rugged guys like Jake Rendina and Carson Smith. I think Hayden Reed and Jarrell Dixon are very similar in their skill set and their running style, and Briggs is just different from all of them. But if you lined him up and ran him in a race, he'd be the fastest guy, and probably, if we tested him in a 5-10-5 shuttle or something like that, tested quickness, he'd probably be as quick as any of them. He's just not as big.
On the defensive line real quick, you guys seemed like they were making plays up front. Gemma was involved in it. Isaiah Burrow doesn't play defensive line, but he was involved in plays. Can you talk about the freshman class and the younger guys kind of stepping up there? I know you mentioned Jack Wilson too.
Yeah,
so.
There's some guys we transitioned. So Grayson Baker moved from tight end over there, and he's just a big, long body right now that needs to gain a lot of weight. But that's a change for him. But I think as he develops, it's going to be a good move for us. Cale Newton moved from the dog or outside linebacker position to a defensive end. Again, another guy that needs to gain weight, but really, I think has improved a lot this spring, and just kind of finding his way at that position. It's not easy. It's not easy to move inside and have to play those kinds of blocks when you've been taking on tight ends and dropping into pass coverage. Jack Bowsen didn't play last fall. He was hurt, so he's back, and I'm really excited about him. He's strong and he's moving really well, and so I'm encouraged by that. He's just basically going into his sophomore year now, so that's a good addition for us. there's other guys. There's other guys that are probably gonna, gonna find their way over to that position from the outside linebacker positions. That's kind of a natural progression. You move closer to the ball or closer to the line of scrimmage. Guys going from safety to linebacker. Guys going from outside linebacker to defensive end. And so we made some of those moves. And sometimes it's exploratory, trying to figure out if they can make a difference there. And sometimes it's out of need, but I think we're just trying to position these guys at the spot on our team where they can best contribute. And we try to do that in the spring so that we're not making those changes in preseason camp when it's really hard to then try to compete for any sort of job in the fall.
Jackson?
Hey, Coach, when you're replacing so many stars on the offense, what's been like watching this offense progress over the last 14 practices in this game now? Are you pleased with where they're at the moment, not heading into summer?
I am. I'm happy with the progress we've made. Just again, as you said, just acknowledging the fact that we lost some really good veteran players, some guys in the offensive line, quarterback who meant so much to our team, Casey Reynolds, role players like Miles Stewart. There's a lot of guys to replace, but though we may not be exactly the same on offense because of personnel changes, I still feel like we can have a good run game and be a good offense, and there were enough guys this spring that stepped into those roles that did good things that were encouraged by that. I think the quarterbacks have all competed hard. They're different. Each one of those guys is different. You see Dwayne Coleman and Ethan Washington, Cale Helms, they're all very different, but all capable of doing the things in our offense that you might run one more than the other. You might feel like one guy's a better passer than another, but within the system, I think any one of those guys could be our quarterback and we could be a successful offense. So a lot of it has to do with the running backs and the slot backs and receivers and the job that they do blocking along with the offensive line that makes the biggest difference for us and whether we're going to be a good offense or not. But Hayden Reed and his move to the tailback or the B-back position, he played H and he's been a role player. And he's just good at everything. He's a good runner, he's a good blocker, he's a good pass receiver. He's a really good football player, and I think he's going to be an outstanding running back for us. And so I don't anticipate that we're going to have a drop off there. I'm really excited about him as long as we can keep him healthy. And then at quarterback, obviously I think we're in a battle there. Dwayne's got the most experience, and right now he's the top quarterback, but I think there's going to be some good healthy competition as we get into preseason camp for that position.
Were you surprised at all on the touchdown run he was able to get away and no one defense apparently touched him on that
Well,
run?
you're playing two-hand touch on a guy with a red jersey on, and I told the officials, I said it's two-hand touch, and you've got to determine if you think that two-hand touch was a chance for him to actually make the tackle. And I think they kind of felt like he dove and may not have had a chance to make the tackle, so they let the play continue. And that's just the way it goes. And when we're in that situation, they got to stay on their feet and get there and be close enough that they can punch his hip and show that I had a chance to make the tackle. So, who knows? It's like the owl with the Tootsie Roll Pop. The world may never know. So we don't know if he'd have been tackled or not. But it's a touchdown for the team in black. So it was a good run.
Captain of you had Cole, John, and Elijah. Those guys got the chance, and obviously the rules are a little different. Now it's been hard to get like the 118 recruits that you had here at West Point, just knowing how those rules have changed since those guys have gone to the league.
So a couple of years back, the NCAA changed the rule on that, and someone who's a varsity athlete here at the academy or any college X, Y, or Z, can actually talk to a prospect when they are on the campus. So you know, that allows those interactions to happen, which I think is great. I think it's a common sense rule that when you're on a campus, that you can talk to people that are on the campus, people that went to school there, and get their perspective. So it's great to have those guys back. We're so proud of them. They're a source of pride for our program. You know, 3 of the many guys that we've got playing in the NFL, and you know, hopefully we'll continue to have more, and there'll be other guys that'll have the opportunity to play on Sundays and represent West Point in that way.
And then to conclude, Joe, if you're still on Zoom, go ahead.
I am still here. Coach Monken, you know, one of the keys to your success last year was the health of the team. You guys were able to start the same 11 on offense for much of the season, as well as the same 11 on defense. How would you evaluate the health of the team following spring practice as you guys get ready to go into summer training?
Oh, it's not very good right now. We're a little beat up and banged up. We got some guys that were out the entire spring, and we got other guys that kind of got knocked out here in the last couple of weeks. But you know, the good news is we don't have to play against anybody else this week or in the coming weeks. We got a chance to get all those guys healthy, and we'll work hard to do that on our end. And you know, the players are good about coming in to get treatments and getting their time in the training room, because they want to play. They want to contribute and help their team win. So they're motivated to do that. So hopefully by the time we get to late July, when we start preseason camp, we'll have most of these guys back and ready to go.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Joe.